From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, January 14th. President Trump's future is in the hands of the Senate. The president now faces trial and possible punishment after the House voted to impeach him for incitement of insurrection. This marks the first time a U.S. president has been impeached twice. The vote comes exactly 1 week after the violent riot on Capitol Hill left 5 people dead. The Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell, is making it clear an impeachment trial will not happen, though, before Inauguration Day. In a new statement, McConnell explained that his decision not to call senators in for an immediate trial. He points out that past impeachment trials have all taken weeks or months, far longer than the 6 days left until the president takes office. McConnell writes in part, "I believe it will best serve our nation if Congress and the executive branch spend the next 7 days completely focused on facilitating a safe inauguration and an orderly transfer of power to the incoming Biden administration." And McConnell's Democratic counterpart, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, wanted an immediate trial. His statement, the President of the United States incited a violent mob against the duly elected government of the United States in a vicious, depraved, and desperate attempt to remain in power. For the sake of our democracy, it cannot and must not be tolerated, excused, or go unpunished. Schumer had asked McConnell to call an emergency session to start the trial. It now appears likely to happen when senators meet after the inauguration. Schumer will be majority leader then. President-elect Joe Biden is urging the Senate to multitask in the coming weeks. Biden has already made his cabinet picks, which will require Senate confirmations. He's also urging Congress to address concerns about COVID-19 vaccine distribution and the country's economic troubles. And the House of Representatives did vote 232 to 197 to impeach President Trump. Unlike his first impeachment, 10 Republican lawmakers broke ranks to vote with Democrats on the charge.
With a heavy heart and clear resolve, I will vote yes on these articles of impeachment.
Indiana's representatives voted along party lines. Democratic Congressmen Frank Mervan and Andre Carson voted yes. Republicans James Baird, Jim Banks, Larry Bouchon, Trey Hollingsworth, Greg Pence, Victoria Spartz, and Jackie Walorski all voted no. The House debate lasted much of the day, and the arguments were heated at times.
We are debating this historic measure at an actual crime scene, and we wouldn't be here if it weren't for the President of the United States.
I cannot think of a more petty, vindictive, and gratuitous act than to impeach an already defeated president a week before he is to leave office.
So far, the president has not commented on the impeachment, but in a newly released video, he does talk directly about the violence at the Capitol.
I want to be very clear. I unequivocally condemn the violence that we saw last week. Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country.
The ongoing threats of violence are leading to changes in inauguration plans. Several reports say President-elect Biden is even canceling his plans to take an Amtrak train to Washington for the event. Governor Holcomb says he'll do what it takes to protect our state and nation's capitals from potential rioters during the Biden inauguration. He's authorizing the Indiana National Guard to deploy to Washington. There's also a plan forming in case there's trouble in downtown Indianapolis. Governor Holcomb says he wants Indiana to do its part to help the country have a peaceful transition. So 625 members of our National Guard will head to Washington, D.C. this week. We've learned they'll all arrive Saturday, stay until at least next Friday, January 22nd. They're joining around 6,700 more troops that were in the Capitol as of yesterday. According to the Department of Defense, the National Guard has been authorized to send up to 20,000 troops to D.C. in all. As for threats to the Indiana State House, Governor Holcomb wasn't specific about his plan here, and you can't see any visible signs of increased law enforcement yet, but he did say that he's ready to ensure a peaceful expression of opinion. Holcomb was hopeful Indy's experience this week will be calmer than others for one specific reason.
We haven't had some of the same election issues that have been called into question this past November here in the state of Indiana. But having said that, we will have a presence that's appropriate to the situation.
The FBI office here in Indianapolis issued a statement to I-Team 8 saying it's identifying potential threats, but respects the First Amendment right to assemble and share free speech. It said specifically, our focus is not on peaceful protesters. Dozens of House Democrats are calling for an investigation into recent tours of the Capitol. The group includes Ohio's Tim Ryan and New Jersey's Mikey Sherrill, who say they want to know if other lawmakers gave Capitol tours to people who rioted the next day, and if those tours helped anyone plan an attack. Sherrill went so far as to call the tours recon missions. More than 30 lawmakers have signed a letter asking for an investigation into the claims. Another social media company cuts off the president. Snapchat announced a permanent termination of Trump's account yesterday, citing public safety, misinformation, hate speech, and inciting violence. Twitter has also permanently banned Trump. We've told you about that here on the podcast. YouTube's locked his account. Facebook has shut off his access until after the inauguration, possibly even longer. And today we should get a look at President-elect Joe Biden's COVID-19 relief package. Two people briefed on the deliberations told CNN it's expected to cost $2 trillion. Lawmakers say it will likely include $2,000 direct payments for most Americans. There's also a focus on significant state and local funding to help with vaccine distribution and emergency spending measures. Biden is expected to unveil the plan in Delaware this evening. And there is apparently a huge difference in job losses among men and women. New data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows overall, American women lost more than 150,000 jobs in December, while men gained 16,000 jobs. Analysts say the pandemic has hit the genders differently because women more commonly hold jobs in some of the hardest hit fields like education, retail, and hospitality. A leader of Dress for Success, which helps women looking for work, says there are opportunities in male-dominated fields.
I think maybe just the societal norms may play a role into why women don't go into those jobs and seek those out. But those are some of the positions that really haven't been touched by the pandemic too much.
We don't know yet if the gender split in job losses is as stark in Indiana. State numbers come out at the end of the month. And Governor Holcomb is proposing a small increase to school funding. Holcomb introduced the 2-year budget plan to lawmakers yesterday. The proposal calls for a 2% increase for kindergarten through 12th grade the first year and a 1% increase the second. That would mean about $377 million more for schools. Holcomb also wants to restore the funding cut earlier this year for state universities. State lawmakers will debate the spending plan over the next several months. Police in Brownsburg warn of a mysterious package that is showing up at people's houses. Just packages are being delivered randomly here. Police say it's part of a brushing scam. That's where a shady online seller uses your information to create phony transactions to make their product look better on Amazon.
It's to give the impression that the recipient of that package is a verified buyer of that package or the contents of that package. The reason they do that is later on they write a fake review in that customer's name, and that way it promotes their product.
Investigators say the packages can lead to several problems if you get them. Notably, it means that somebody has your personal account information. If it happens to you in Brownsburg, police want to hear from you. A new grocery option is opening in Speedway this summer. Developers say an Aldi is coming to Founders Square. Construction is planned to start this month. It's part of a 25-acre project off I-465 near Crawfordsville and High School roads. The site will also include a Hampton Inn hotel and a crew car wash. Researchers from the World Health Organization are in Wuhan, China. There's video of the 10-member team arriving to investigate the origins of the coronavirus. They're plane there in China. China's president allowed the team to come in after months of diplomatic wrangling. China now contends the disease came from somewhere else, but leading scientists from the rest of the world have said that's unlikely. They suspect COVID-19 jumped from bats and other animals to humans and has now led to nearly 2 million deaths. And nearly the entire state of Indiana is at the highest designated risk level for spreading the coronavirus right now. 73 counties are now red on the state's color-coded tracking map. That's 16 counties more than the state's update last week. And there are some learning changes happening in Hamilton Southeastern schools. The school board approved a full return of students from pre-K to 6th grade to the classroom. Grades 7 through 12 are approved to start a hybrid learning schedule. The new schedule starts Tuesday of next week. A virtual-only option is still available for students who want to learn at home for the remainder of the school year. State lawmakers will consider a bill aimed at making sure everyone knows what to do when a police officer pulls them over. State Representative Lonnie Randolph says the bill would require BMV driving manuals to spell out the process, including a description of law enforcement procedures, the actions a driver should take, and making sure your hands are visible. Randolph says the move would help build trust with police. The bill is currently in the hands of the Judiciary Committee, where Randolph is hopeful it will get a hearing in the coming days. Netflix says it will upload a new movie every week in 2021. The company is promising films from Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio, Meryl Streep, Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and more big names. It's a continuation of the radical shift in movie release strategy in the pandemic, when theaters have been closed or limited. A number of production companies have been sending new films straight to streaming services. And if you have a Powerball dream, they are still alive. No one won last night's drawing. The jackpot jumped over to $640 million. This is now the 34th drawing in a row without a winner. The next drawing will be Saturday. Between the Powerball and Mega Millions jackpots, nearly $1.4 billion is up for grabs. And now to business headlines. Americans already hurt by the pandemic are paying more in bank fees. Bankrate.com says people who have taken a financial hit during the pandemic are paying 4 times more per month in bank fees than those who have not. Households that suffered a setback in income during the pandemic, whether it be job loss or cut hours, pay a monthly average of more than $11 a month in checking account fees. Johnson & Johnson's one-dose coronavirus vaccine is safe and appears to generate a promising immune response in both young and elderly volunteers. The most common side effects were fever, fatigue, headache, muscle aches, and pain at the injection site. More data will be released later this month and could be considered by the FDA in February. Some 31% of households said they withdrew money from their 401k or other retirement plans, and 27% borrowed from the plans, according to a new survey conducted by financial magazine Kiplinger's. The sums weren't small either. More than 80% of those borrowing money and of those making withdrawals took over more than $25,000, and about a third in each case took out more than $75,000. TikTok is tightening its privacy practices for the under 18 crowd. Starting this week, the default privacy setting for accounts with users 13 to 15 years old will be private. That means only someone the user approves as a follower can view their videos, which was not the case previously, but teens still can change this setting to public if they want. Okay, so let's talk post-vaccinations here. We're talking about people who are planning what they want to do once they have those doses. 30% of Americans plan to splurge immediately after vaccination, and 52% said that they'll wait a while before doing so. Millennials are more likely to be planning a celebratory splurge than any other age group. Many say that they'll spend on a fancy dinner or on a vacation. Conversely, the report shows 15% of consumers say they'll never feel financially secure again in wake of the pandemic. And now finally to sports. A blockbuster deal has Pacers guard star Victor Oladipo heading to Houston. The Pacers sent Oladipo to the Rockets in exchange for Brooklyn Nets forward Karis LeVert and a second-round pick for the next draft. LeVert is averaging 18 points this season. The deal also involves the Rockets' James Harden going to the Nets. The Pacers landed Oladipo in a different blockbuster trade in 2017, along with Domantas Sabonis. And state bragging rights are on the line as IU and Purdue play in Bloomington. It'll be the first time the two teams play each other in an empty assembly hall. Purdue has won the past 7 meetings against IU by an average of 9 points. The Hoosiers' last win over the Boilermakers came in 2016. Tip-off is tonight at 7. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.